My name is Alvia, I go by he, him pronouns. Welcome to the Lionsgate forecast, the energies that the Lionsgate itself on the day of the 7th of August will bring. And so I'm gonna go in an overview of the galactic energies. So we're talking about Andromeda, Procyon, as well as Antares. Those are the main ones that are activated right now. Other than that, we're also gonna go into the astrology as well as human design aspects of this specific cosmic event. And I'm gonna give you a little bit more information on which specific aspects we're talking about later in the video, so just stick around. I'm gonna start with the galactic energies here first. So we are having Andromeda and Procyon energy coming together in the channel of acceptance here, which I will talk about a little bit later on the details of that. But this aspect is bringing us more understanding of differences, and it's a union of galactic travelers of many kinds, where the others are more in tune with cosmos and the others are more in tune with the energy of the Earth and the solar system. So both of these species transmute polarities. They're just doing it very differently. So Andromedans kind of do it on a more spiritual level, and then Procyons are doing it in a more elemental level, if that makes any sense. That's kind of what came through. It wasn't kind of like this spiritual versus human, but it was more like a spiritual versus elemental. So there's kind of a difference with the alchemy, if that makes sense, of how those things are working. So if the Procyons are working with the four elements, for example, then the Andromedans are maybe more working in the quantum field or other ways of spiritual alchemy. And Andromeda is indeed dominating this chart, so I'm kind of aware that some people may not have an easy time grasping the Andromedan energy because it is from a completely other galaxy. It's very like fluid, expansive, and changing. It's very changeable, and it's also very high dimensional in a way that it comes from a completely different paradigm. It comes from a completely different paradigm of operating in the universe versus humans. And so therefore the Procyon energy might be a little bit easier to approach because it's a little bit more humane, and they kind of work in this close proximity to human energies. And I remember actually seeing Procyon in a meditation once, and they kind of had these sort of cone-shaped homes and these elongated heads, and they had very strong limbs, so they kind of have the form in shape, if that makes sense, but they didn't necessarily look like humans, and their homes were very, very cozy. I actually went to visit one of their houses, and it was just beautiful. I just remember this vivid image of like orange and blue light, and just like this shiny lights and just some light coming from the top of it. It was very beautiful and cozy to me. So that's kind of my memory of a meditation with Procyon energy. And Andromeda is very familiar to me. I have been there many times. The other energetic that is coming through here is that for those of us that are willing to take up a weird cup, Antares allows us to do time travel and other quantum magic. Here is their message. Transmute the flames of the scorpion. It must be on the journey of the depth of soul, or it may not survive. Survival is not a goal. Support and expansion is. We are free souls. The dragons are on our side. And I believe they meant the dragon spirits with this, okay? So there's a difference between dragons and the Draco beings, for example, or dragons and reptilians. And I could go on a rabbit hole about reptilians and Dracos if I wanted to, based on what I know, based on what I've received, but that's another story, and that's not for this one necessarily. What they also said, let me move on with the channel message. We become what we are looking for in this life as long as we are clear on our evolution and our truth. If the mission is maligned, trouble remains. So have your own mission and not someone else's. There may be lessons involved, which is not scary. It's just the truth. Let yourself be free to roam the endless expansion of the soul, the rainbow bridge to divine, multidimensional connection, unification, thoughtful, truthful leadership. Freudian slip, maybe? Truthful leadership and promised pathways. So I thought that was a very beautiful message, to be honest. The gates that are activated here, the sun will be in Leo in the gate 7, and the earth will be in the gate 13. And then we're also gonna have the channel from gate 17 to gate 62, so we'll have Jupiter in gate 17 and Venus in gate 62, and then we will have Mars in gate 23 and the moon will be in gate 9. We're also gonna have Uranus and North Node connected in gate 2. And I'm gonna talk about more about the details and such in a bit, but we're gonna start with just the overview. The message that came through was that this is a powerful day to create a future that breaks us out of our old realities. And this was related to the Uranus North Node conjunction in the gate 2 in Taurus. So it's a very futuristic time in regards to that. And what I also wrote down was that artistic creativity is highlighted and a recommendation to make detailed pieces of the desired reality, drawing, writing, and vision boards and stuff like that, which came through the gate 62, which is the Venus in Cancer on Procyon. And another thing that came through was that we should align our creations with the heart and the heart's growth, which was highly related to the sun in Leo in the gate 7. And step-by-step plans are also encouraged without attachments, which was related to the gate 9, which is also the moon in Sagittarius in Antares. This highlighted just the need to be a little bit more step-by-step and also being willing to plan these things out so that we have kind of like a little bit of a roadmap as well, which is interesting because when I think about the channeling that I just shared, this was about our mission and sort of aligning with our truth. So then when we kind of bring the mission into a kind of a very practical sort of sense, we're not going to feel that overwhelmed. And that's a really beautiful thing about this. And another thing that came through, just the Mars conjunct Uranus and North Node in Taurus with gates 2 and gate 23 is let the light bulbs go off because this is a highly innovative time for all of us. And it's very liberating as well, which kind of came through already with the before Lionsgate energy forecast that I'd made. And the heart is capable of just being, and that way leaping into the now to come. So we're very much bridging the gap between the now in, I suppose, present and the now in the future, or our perceived future, because the spiritual time is really not the same as human time, and the human time is really just an illusion, and it's just something that we use to measure things. There's nothing wrong with measuring itself, but sometimes it limits us a little bit, and that's what the Andromedan energy is also challenging us with, because they're bringing this timeless energy, they're bringing this paradigm shift of just getting out of the damn box that we've been living in, and it really aligns with the Uranus conjunct North Node as well as Mars in the game as well. It really aligns so well with that. It's just incredible energy, honestly. This is gonna sound very cliche, but this now moment was once a now moment that you dreamed about in the past, or what you really wanted in the past. So that's kind of what really came through strongly here as well. And like I said, we want to think about the expansion as a space to go deeper. I think I mentioned this in the last one, the deep and vast, discerning of consequences, discerning of the use of our own will, and expansion as spaciousness. I'm just going to repeat. Divine interventions as well as inventions are very likely to occur right now. So I feel like this is gonna keep going with and throughout the Lionsgate energy. Now going deeper into the gene keys and the human design energies for this, what came through was that downloads can be very detailed and powerful, and that's because we do have the channel of acceptance, and in the Gene Keys energies it comes through as the gate of omniscience, which is the 17, and then the gate of impeccability, the 62, coming together. The downloads can be very detailed and powerful. We might even share them, right? Like I feel like this would be the time that we would share a lot of downloads, because this is between Jupiter and Venus. This could be also a powerful time to commune or like to join with soul family and with the oversoul and stuff like that, with like spiritual family. So, especially because this channel is in the freaking collective circuitry. If this isn't the soul family transit, then I don't know what is. This totally is. And I mentioned in the week before video that because Venus was conjunct Sirius on July 29th, I believe, if I remember correctly, that was already bringing up a lot of like soul connections in the divine realms and in the different realms of the universe, rather than just our human realms. But I also feel like it can be very powerful for grounding that energy as well, like light grounding these soul connections. And what the other collective gates that are opening here are the gate 9, which is the moon in Sagittarius, which is in the sacral center, and that is about focus and invincibility. So right, like I said, when we focus and when we have that kind of plan in place, like details matter here a lot. It seems that this is really asking for us to be detailed in stuff. But that then helps when we have that kind of at least some steps ahead. We don't have to have the whole plan, but even if we have the next 1 to 3 steps towards this expansion, towards this victory that we're going towards, then well, first of all, yes, we will have a lot more focus because we're prioritizing the right thing, but we're also able to really expand in a different way because we got that down, like we got that path ahead. With the sun in the gate 7, also a collective energy in Leo. This is in the G center or the heart center. This is about the leader energy and virtue energy. So in the Gene Keys, it's considered the energy of virtue at its highest. So this also brings up a different way to look at leadership. So this is kind of more like showing an example, the most ideal example, and being the one making those very important changes. That's how I understand virtue, at least. If you have other ways that you understand virtue, let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear. By the way, I'm not a native speaker, so sometimes understanding words takes a little bit of a while for me, but I'm doing my best. And then these other ones that are, yes, very important, they're on the individual gates. So we have the G center also activated with and I believe the gate 13 was also in the collective one, which is the planet Earth, of course. So that's now mentioned. But the individual gates that are activated, the gate 2, which is Uranus and North Node in the heart center. This is about receptivity and unity. And there is a lot of unity in this as well, a lot of opportunities to raise to unity and to receive that energy as well. This is where we can receive just beautiful freaking messages and divine guidance. So really take your time in being receptive and open to those things. The gate 23, which is activated by Mars in Taurus, another individual gate, which is about assimilation and quintessence, and this is in the throat center. So this is about sort of assimilating your words, or one's words, or whatever words, so that they deliver the message rightly. So it can be really good for getting into the point of things, if that makes any sense. And it is very important to have good communication skills if you have this gate activated. Personally, I can say, yes, I have this one and I'm practicing. And sometimes I do say things pretty well if I say so myself, but it takes a very specific person to receive it in the right way. I do really appreciate it when you all tell me that I'm telling you exactly what you needed, or that I'm saying something that makes sense, something that helps you. And it's really like, it makes my day when I hear those messages, because I just want to help you all, I just want to really provide something that is of value. So whenever you all let me know that these bring you value and that these are meaningful messages to you and that they help you and that you at least feel something from them or that you have an experience of them, that makes a really big difference. Mostly we're dealing with the Hermit natural energy, so that's the second line, and then also Role Model, which is the sixth line. So looking ahead, but then we're also having this natural energy as well as this rather drawn in type of energy. And I feel like when it comes to that highlights to us that these can also bring up, I also feel like, yes, this can bring up natural skills that are like spiritual skills that are natural to us, to a new level, but it's also something that we're gonna be looking ahead with. So it's something that we're gonna have to be thinking about how we're gonna use that in the new now and how it's relevant there, because most likely it is. These can be quite surprising things as well. I forgot to say that with the Uranus energy, because I've mentioned this before, it can be a bit surprising and absurd sometimes, a bit weird, which is wonderful to me, but we're gonna be looking ahead a lot, and that's another way that the futurism of this aspect is coming through. And then we're also kind of having a little bit of like fifth line and fourth line energy, so that's more about focused on groups. So like I said, the fourth line is about groups, and the groups and the relationships have been highlighted, and then there is this fifth line heretic, which is kind of universalizing exaltation and kind of thinking, not thinking, but like teaching energy, which is also in the projection field. There's a lot of like projected energy, and so therefore these energies are like, there's a lot of expectations also. The way we expect things to come might not be the way they come. That's what was coming through. So yeah, that's the thing. And for when it comes to planet Earth in the G center, in the gate 13, uniting with people, or in the Gene Keys, it's empathy. So in this sort of Earth realms, this is the kind of energy that's coming through. We're once again in the heart center, in our own hearts. I feel like the empathy that's coming through here is also coming through, not just the seventh gate with the leader and virtue energy, but this is also like, of course it's opposite the sun, but I don't feel like it's opposite at all. Like, it doesn't feel like that. I feel like these two are working together in such a beautiful way. Almost felt like this was going to be like a combination of the sun being the leader, which is then drawing in the earth as the people. So that's how the people will unite with one another through this so-called leader. I hope that makes sense. There is the leader, but then there is the union with people. So the unity is very strong, and it's happening through, I also feel like this will just rise from the center of the earth, right? Because a while ago there was like a very, very deep purge coming from the center of the earth. And right now I feel like there's going to be more of that empathy and unity. And it's a very powerful time to, for example, partake in the unity meditation. So you all join me on the unity meditations at some point on the 7th, on Sunday. Or you can come up with your own. Actually, I'm just going to share it here because why not? I was considering starting my own meditation sessions in person here in Finland. And I'm figuring out how to do that. I'm not sure how yet, but I might have a place to do it in. It would be very cool. So we'll see. But that was my thought. I would definitely recommend that because I have a feeling that the energy waves are going to be super powerful that day, and also on the 8th, because that's when most people will celebrate the 8/8 to Lionsgate. Heck yeah. I do feel like this is going to be an absolutely beautiful time for us. and just magical. That's just all of the recommendations. And if you want more information on this portal in general, in a more, I guess, matter-of-fact way, more about the sort of mythology and the magic and all of the symbolism, whatever, that I gathered last year, because I was just on a deep dive. I wanted to know everything about the Lion's Gate and not just the superficial stuff. I just wanted to know the freaking truth. That's how I am when I want to know the truth. I just go on a rabbit hole and just dig and read and compare information. I have a North Node in Scorpio conjunct my Pluto, so you can expect that from me. And if I don't do that, then something has probably caught my attention, because I'm a Gemini sun, so sometimes that happens. So I just kind of dance between being extremely involved and in that super creative flow, and then just like wanting to know everything and getting a bit scattered. But the good thing is we get these beautiful productions that I provide here, these mystical forecasts, and I love making them. So thank you for tuning in and listening this far. I have big love for you, and so does my piggy. He loves you too. And I hope this helped you, and I'll talk to you later. Stay inspired.